but he understands why other divers think differently.
That's a hell of a big dent in the side. You swim over it, but it's so easy to look at that and go, oh, that's got to have been caused by being hit by something, you know? It's because of it, because of the shape of it, the way it's scalloped in there, you know?
60 years on, a German submarine lies just 7 miles off the Cornish coast. Untouched, unvisited, and unknown. No U-boat is recorded as lost here. So which one is it, and why is it here? As Germany battles to isolate Britain, the Allies employ increasingly effective measures to counter the submarine threat. More accurate sonar, interception of signals and codes, greater coordination with aerial reconnaissance, better use of depth charges. U-boat command can no longer send craft out on the surface for long periods. Their solution is the snorkel. Using a special new air intake, the U-boats can now remain underwater for entire patrols. The presence of a snorkel tube on the wreck is a significant clue. It allows Innes McCartney to narrow his search.
This one still is in fairly good condition, as you can see. All the features around the top of the conning tower here are all there. Here's the attack periscope. It's the conning tower hatch there, which is open. It's the control pillar. This is the sky observation periscope. And here's the snorkel itself. And a ring in this position on the mast is indicative of the Type 1 snorkel arrangement. And this is usually associated with submarines that have been sunk in the last few weeks of the war. So this is a very good dating item, lead me to believe that this submarine has been lost in 1945.
It's a significant leap forward in the investigation. To make further headway, Innes travels to Germany to examine the only intact Type 7C U-boat in the world, identical to the mystery submarine. On the shores of the Baltic, he teams up with German U-boat historian Axel Niesler.
On Type 7 U-boats, the stern is one area that generally you find is usually quite intact, and it's sort of the iconic view, isn't it, with the twin rudders and the torpedo tube coming out between them.
That's solid steel, eh?
So all of the exterior features that generally tend to fall off as the conning tower and the winter garden corrode has all ended up in a big pile on the seabed, literally where we're standing now, and it's in there that, you know, we were able to look for some of the interesting piping for the snorkel.
These boats were not built for being comfortable to the crew. These were fighting machines. And with a normal crew of, say, between 45 and 50 men crammed into these boats, living conditions were horrible. Imagine the stink 50 persons produce inside a U-boat pressure hull, and with all the noise generated both inside the boat and coming from outside, it is a horrible vision. This is a diesel compartment now, which is separated by these two doors from the rest of the boat.
It is cramped.
Yeah, it is rather cramped.
Very cramped.
And now we come to the heart of the boat, the control room. This is the ladder upstairs to the bridge.
Where the attack periscope is used.
Right, and the conning tower. And here we have the control panels for the hydrophone. Imagine rough weather with heavy seas. The whole boat is rolling like this all the time, 24 hours a day. So it's not one of the easiest jobs to do service in here.
U-boat design on the inside remained more or less unchanged throughout the war. But it is out on the deck that the key to Germany's changing U-boat tactics is to be found.
So when this snorkel was in use, it rose up into the vertical position and fitted into the conning tower behind us.
That's right, rising up to periscope height. And because the snorkel was used together with the periscope while the boat was snorkeling, the periscope was used to observe the sky in order to avoid being surprised by aircraft.
And it was used to be able, so they could run the diesel engines while the boat was submerged.
Yeah, without the snorkel, these inshore operations in 1944-45 wouldn't have been possible.
The search now takes a dramatic new twist. Astonishingly, 2 more unidentified submarines have been found only a few miles away. Could there be any connection between these 3 wrecks? First, they need to identify the new finds. Luckily, at 60 meters, nearly 200 feet, the first submarine is at the same depth as the original. There are other striking similarities. Her shape confirms that she too is German and of the same design, a Type 7C. She even displays that telltale feature of the late war U-boats, the snorkel. However, her damage is in a different area. The impact was catastrophic, totally shearing off the bow. To crush and twist the metal of a submarine's pressure hull, normally so robust, implies massive force. Memories haunt the site. Rubber boots poke out from among the remaining metal, a clue to the horrific nature of the submarine's demise.
Although the submarine is designed to operate entirely underwater, within a few weeks of it going down onto its final dive, it'll start to corrode. They are, after all, made of iron and steel, so they will rust. The thin metal that makes up the casing and the top deck, the fuel tanks, and a lot of the features around the conning tower has completely corroded away, so what we tend to see now on the seabed is the pressure hull and the centre part of the conning tower, with the rest of the features having fallen off and lying on the seabed next to the submarine.
Just 7 miles to the southwest, again at the same depth, and again lying on her port side, is the third submarine. Her shape too betrays her as German, again a late war model. And she seems to have suffered the same fate.